Hey, good evening, Ken Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for July 31st, 2024. I'll start with a sniper trade of the day. My focus stock was NVIDIA because of this enormous gap up. This was on my mind all day. And we had yesterday's close here. And you can see the gap all the way to here. It establishes an OR3. A few things to take note of. You see that it closed below yesterday's VWAP, which is kind of an indication that folks were worried about the call. And so they were trimming some positions at a discount. And then they had a blowout earnings call. And there was about a 8% gap up. And then it was good all day. It blew through the Bollinger Band mean, yesterday's PSAR, the 3-day anchored VWAP, and the 5-day anchored VWAP. So this was really an exceptional move. So I'm ready to play the OR3 right from the get-go. Now, if you were very aggressive, you could play this on the 1 minute, and then when you see the opening box, you could put an R5 of about 50 cents on either one, and then you could play that breakout. And as you can see, you'd have gotten short right here. And in the first bar, you're already well over an R. So those are some of the trading options. But I elected to trade the 3 minutes today, a little more relaxed. Well, the 3 minute is more relaxed than the 1 minute. The second bar was like an inside bar, a doji. When it resolved to the upside, I was ready to go because it had an opportunity to fail, and it was already 6 minutes into the day, and it was respecting this low, and then resumed and took out the intraday VWAP. So I was front running here. Now I would ordinarily be happy getting long right here, but I saw a chance to get long here. So I accelerated the entry, um, and I'm already just 2 bars into this thing, and I'm ready to lock in my no lose plus dinner for two, because then psychologically I'm not going to lose any money, and it's now just going to be a science project on the way up. And it's just a question of how much will my exit rules return me? And my initial capital risk is out of the market. That's a very important psychological state for us for the way we trade. I mean, I'm not going to cut my own fingers off. Check or hold. So I exit shortly thereafter just to lock in some gains, gave back a full R, but then it held support above the VWAP. So I re-entered upon the next sign of strength. It was a little nervous in the service. It's moving up smartly. It rolls over and now comes back to the skin of the dragon. When this starts rolling over, I decide to take that one, and here's my risk box, and I lock in another 1 R. So this was a total of about an additional 1.5 R. I have a longer term position on Tesla or on NVIDIA, so that was already a nice bounce for the swing. So I was content with just trading that this morning. The rest of the morning was kind of a sideways chop, and never had a chance to get back in, and then we got called away uh, for some other business. So about 1.5 extra on the turbo trades today. Let's take a look. There was only one reported trade from the team. Let's see if we can find that. That's This is Brian, basically minus zero point 0.3 for the day. He gets an initial win, gives it, and then gives it back. This was a minus 1.2 R because of a bad fill here. Now, his re-entry point is here, but it's also as he was going to bed. I'm going to advise him in the future to just do a trailing stop because that move was there. So minus 0.3. So not much to report from the traders today. There was a lot happening today. A lot of good things working, and we'll catch up with that maybe tomorrow. But today feels like a nice recovery day. So we're going to take a little longer look at the daily report then. Alrighty, let's clear the drawings. Yeah, so essentially what I did with my NVIDIA trade is that I've got a core position here in the swing trade. And then as that started to run up, all I had to do was just add the turbo pieces today and not carry that extra risk overnight because my longer term position is already on a swing trade that's well in the money and is forming my base. So now I can just trade around that position with day trading. Then I use the combination of the two different time frames to get a multi-time perspective view on NVIDIA. So that's the essence of core and turbo trading on the short end. Let's see, this is where we are on the 150-day look back. So this is 150 days. There's the low. Here's the all-time high. That's also the 150-day high. And we closed right up around in here. So we're midpoint of the 30-day range, which is this black box. And we're right in the middle of that. We're in basically the middle of the 10-day range and we're at the top end of the 5-day range. And here's our 150-day anchored VWAP. So we still have all of this, if we use the R10 as the proxy for price, we still have all this goodness above the long-term fair value. The last time we had that, it did this and pulled all the way back. So my job here is to not let it go below that 30-day lows because I don't want to give this back. We earned some money in here, so I want to try to keep that gain locked in. You will recall that back here we were very seriously prepared for the short side because on a move of this size that comes back to the baseline, it wouldn't be unusual to see the same size move that comes back, then overshoot and come all the way down to here. So we were prepared for that. And that's what made this a critical state. And it just happened to resolve in this direction. To a lesser extent, you have that same critical state here. That's a Kata 2 position. And you can see that gave us two more legs up. That's the context for the swing trade time frame on daily charts that is informing our intraday trading on 3-minute, 10-minute, and 30-minute charts. When we zoom in on the last 30 days, these are daily bars. You can see now we've got your 5-day range here in red, and we've got the anchored 5-day VWAP here, and price closed well above that. We got the 3-day anchored VWAP. So this is all accelerated buying. You have the 10-day range here, and the 10-day anchored VWAP is there. And then the 30-day range is this black box, and the 30-day anchored VWAP that acts kind of like the 50-yard line. We got back to the 50 and are now just getting ready to resume this move. Is it going to go to the 10-day high and the top of the dragon? Is it going to go to the peak of the RL10? Is it going to go to the all-time high? We don't know, but this was a promising day and the market responded well with the tech leaders, and an additional upside move would not be surprising. Not allowed to be surprised if that happens. And you can see on the 30-day or 30-minute move, excuse me, this is 5 days, 5 days, and 30-minute bars. You can see the 30 anchored VWAP, the 10, the 5, and the 3, and price closed all the way above all of those anchored VWAPs. So this really was accelerated buying today that pushed it that high. It tested one more time late in the day and then pulled back. But now the previous peak, around 557, would be tomorrow's next stretch target. So we'll be ready for that. If today's move fails, then it's got to get through intraday support at 548, then to the Bollinger Band mean, 5-day VWAP, the bottom of the dragon, bottom of the RL10, and then that's where disaster would officially set in. So tomorrow should be a fireworks follow-through day in just don't know which direction. Should be fun. Big strength in TLT today. And in the Dow tactical, Merck gave back. Boeing had a 10-day breakout. Much fewer number of stocks on the auto framer because of today's little recovery. Intel is still lagging like a big dog, 9-1 on the auto framer. In the auto framer again, you see Intel at 9-1, Tesla at 3-1, Microsoft 2.7-1, the Qs 2.5. So there's quite a few goodies that are still in there that are ready to start on their follow through tomorrow. So if there's a follow through, there's a good reason to believe we'll have a lot of good targets. 5 symbols on the daily squeeze, including Tesla and Intel. So both of those, in my view, are high priority payoff targets. There's Intel and EWWs at 2.4-1 on the auto framer. A few more things got back into the fall today, but summer's getting a little thin. McDonald's, U.S. Steel, and Coke, to me, are still really strong candidates. Like if we saw a nice recovery in the S&P here, the first thing I'm going to look at is tech. But if tech is not the leader, then the staples like McDonald's and Coke and U.S. Steel, which have been strong, might be the source of that strength. So we'll be watching them in the same way that we would watch XLI, which is still in the summer. That's not tech. That's your industrial leaders. Mostly a good news day today in all of the ETFs. Just a few negative Nancy's here: Walmart, Merck, Morgan, and Johnson & Johnson. Trading value: marijuana, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Nucor, plenty to choose from. Mexico, uranium still in there. Nice recovery day here. And it's finding support at the long-term average in the 0 line. And then finally the Z-score. Yeah, today you can see the nice little recovery here today causes the RL10 to reverse at a -2 sigma, right where it did last time. And last time that led to this move, which is that move, which is from 500 to 540. That was an 8% move last time. So this is postured to make exactly that kind of move. That would take it up to about 570 or 580 in the S&P. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted, and we will be ready for them on Tactical Thursday tomorrow. Take good care.